Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Welcome all devotees to the Gita Daily session. Thanks for all those who joined. So today we will be continuing our discussion on Bhagavad Gita. Today we'll be talking about Sloka number 2.64. So let's take the blessings of the Lord. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai Sudarshan Gaurantaya Narsimade Panchatattva. By their mercy, we can understand this Bhagavad Gita topics. So let's start with the prayers. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Let's dedicate the session to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of International Society of Krishna Consciousness, by whose tireless effort the Vedic knowledge was spread throughout the world. And by His mercy, we are able to understand Bhagavad Gita in a very simple and a way that we can practically apply in our day-to-day life. So let's thank Srila Prabhupada. So today we will discuss 2.64. So we'll recite the shloka. You can recite after me. Ragadvesha vimuktais Vishayanindriyascharan Atmavashir Prasadam Adhigacchati. Repeat. Ragadvesha vimuktais Vishayanindriyascharan Atmavashir Prasadam Adhigacchati. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. We look at the word meaning. Raga, attachment. Dvesha, and detachment. Vimukte, by one who has become free from. Tu, but. Vishayan, sense objects. Indriyai, by the senses. Charan, acting upon. Atmavashe, under one's control. Videyatma, one who follows regulated freedom. Prasadam, the mercy of the Lord. Adhigachati, attains. So we will again read the translation. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. So we'll try to recap what we were discussing. Yesterday we were discussing the sequence of events or the chain of events that results in the fall down of a person, right? Which starts from contemplating on the sense objects, right? So initially we contemplate, our senses give some input, like we see something, hear something, or some input is coming. So we start contemplating on it, thinking about it. So that's how the process starts, right? So once you start contemplating, then we develop attachment to it, and from attachment, lust is developed, right? And when the lust is unfulfilled, anger comes. From anger, bewilderment happens, and from bewilderment, memory is lost. When memory is lost, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, we fall down, to the material pool. So that's what we discussed. So we saw the series of events, and we also saw that it is easy to control, the sequence, the flow when it is in the starting, right? Just like a small fire is easy to put out, once it becomes a raging fire or a forest fire, it's not possible to stop it. So similarly, we are able to, it's easier to control in the beginning, but then later it's very difficult. So this is the technicality of the sequence of events that results in the fall down. But today we will see how actually we can solve the problem, right? What is the real solution for actually fall down? So here Krishna is saying, Arjuna, one who is free from raga and dvesha. No? So there are two things. Raga means attachment and dvesha is detachment. So it's very important to note, even aversion is a problem, not only attachment. Even sometimes we are averse to various things, right? We don't like this, we don't like that. We want this particular environment, right? So many things we don't like. Similarly, many things we like. So both of them are actually a problem. So both actually cause us the mind to be disturbed. So one actually who is able to get free from attachment and aversion, and thus able to control the senses through regulative principles, right? He can become peaceful. So Lord actually in one way is giving a peace formula. How can one be peaceful in this world? So let's go into more detail of the topic. Yeah. So what are the key points in today's world? So we see that this sloka is a continuation of the previous sloka that we discussed yesterday, right? So here actually, so both raga and dvesha, the Lord actually saying that both are actually we should try to avoid, right? And what is very important to understand, right? So there are different parts of spirituality, and no, there are different ways that different paths try to handle the situations. So the path actually of the spirituality or the bhakti marga, no, that our acharyas in our parampara have is following, they give the formula, right? Where actually the essence is that it is not possible to artificially restrain the senses, that we have seen earlier also, right? When we artificially restrain the senses, it is just a matter of time, and or as soon as an opportunity presents, the sense will revolt, and then we actually again become subject to the fall down. So what is the only way? And also the senses are cannot be restrained artificially. Actually the senses are sometimes compared to horses, right? A horse actually is very difficult to control, unless until you have proper mechanism to control it. So similarly, the senses cannot be restrained, or no, we cannot starve the senses, or no, prevent the senses from engaging with the material world, because they are designed to get engaged in the material world. So what is the right way is to use the senses in something higher. We saw the last to last session that param drishto nivartade, right? So senses cannot be restrained, but actually when we get a higher taste, then actually the senses becomes pacified. So the solution to the problem is to engage the senses in some higher principles. The higher principle is actually the service to the Lord, right? We When we use all our senses in the service of the Lord, or activities which are connected to the Lord, then actually the senses becomes controlled and pacified. So basically, there are two ways to look at it. No, one way is to control the things. No, to try to handle the immediate problem, right? For example, to restrain the senses. This is a temporary solution. But the long term or holistic solution is to give a proper engagement of senses, which actually is the activities which are engaging activities which are related to spirituality, right? So when this higher when the senses are given higher engagement, then automatically the senses will get controlled. So we don't have to separately endeavor to restrict the senses. So the solution is already there. As we progress in the sessions, we will understand what are the different limbs of bhakti, right? What are the things which you are supposed to do, right? What are the things which we So when we do the positive things, automatically the negative things will follow. It will come automatically. We don't have to put a separate effort to handle it. um yeah. So that actually is the principle. So let's move on. So one more important thing is that that generally, because we don't understand what is our ultimate goal, right? That is also a reason why we are always disturbed in the material world, right? In the material world, when we discussed earlier that when we because normally we identify with the body, right? We think that I am so and so person, and these are my relatives, this is my job, right? These are my responsibilities, right? So this is our general perception, and because of which we have a very narrow vision. We just think about this particular lifetime, and we are running around, right? We are always busy, trying to achieve this and that. We want to try maximum, achieve wealth, everything. We are in a hurry. But then when we really know that this is only a temporary part of our entire existence, and the goal of human life is to get out of cycle of birth and death, right? When we understand the real goal, then actually our all our priorities will be changing, right? Then we know, and then also we understand that we will see in the future sessions, the role of karma in our life, right? So so when we understand the philosophy or the principles of karma, we will know that what that which is destined for us will come anyway, right? Nobody can take it away. So whether it is good or bad, so the happiness which is destined will definitely come in the due course of time, and also the distress which is also destined for us will come, right? So this cannot be stopped. So we will not get into the detail, but essentially, the karma, there are different type of karma, right? And one that karma which is destined for this life is known as the prarabdha karma. And then there is the Sanjita karma, no, Agami karma. Like that, there are different things. But essentially, the Prarabdha karma is already destined when actually a person takes birth. Based on all the past karma that we have done in the previous life, right? We get a particular body in this life. We get a particular parents. We get a particular context or a set of relatives, etc. This is already determined, and also the happiness and distress is also determined. So when we are understanding this, then we become more peaceful, right? So then we'll not be so much greedy, right, behind things, or so much concerned. So with that understanding, we should take both happiness and distress in the same way, right? Or raga and dvesha, no attachment to the likes and dislikes, no, like we have so many likes, like, and then we have so many things we don't like. So both of them are actually problem, right? Both of them actually cause the mind to be disturbed. So all these are technicalities, but essentially, when we follow the acharyas, right, who have already, have already become self-realized, when they follow their instructions, also Krishna is giving the same instructions. When we follow the instructions, then automatically, all these things will fall into the place without no. So the technicalities are good to know how things are working, but then when we actually have faith, so for example, we go to a physician, right? So if you have a faith in the physician and we follow his no his treatment, right? You follow his diet. Like for example, he may use you may say that okay, you should take this food, you should not take this food, etc. Do's and don'ts. If you have the faith, that is sufficient. No, that actually the disease will get cured. It is not necessary to know how the medicine is working, right? How what is the physiology, how the medicine is actually acting in the system. It is not necessary to know that. But sometimes people who are actually doesn't have faith, right? They may need this information. So similarly, in the part of spirituality also, these technical details are for those people who doesn't have faith. So initially we may not have faith, so we may have to understand okay how things are working technically, what is karma, etc., etc. But essentially, if you have faith in the acharyas, you have faith in the Lord, and we are ready to follow, then all the things, all these results will automatically be achieved. So there is also the principle of yukta vairagya, right? So sometimes what happens, some of the paths in spirituality, they actually try to follow the negation path. So they don't want to use any material comforts. So they give up everything. No, they try to become very simple. They don't have any attachment. So they try to reject everything, right? So material comforts, they don't want to they don't want to travel in the car, they don't want to use airplane. So all these things, actually they try to negate everything. But the acharyas in our sampradaya, they use the principle of yukta vairagya. So vairagya means rejecting things, but yukta vairagya actually is using everything in the service of Lord. So it is not necessary that we should give up everything, but we can find a way to use everything in the service of the Lord. So this principle is yukta vairagya, which actually we will see. For example, we can use. So today we are using the technology. Now for example, I'm giving the class. I use a laptop. No, I use the internet. No, I don't say that okay, I don't want technology, right? I use the technology in the service of Lord. And some of the acharyas like Srila Prabhupada, he used to travel throughout the world. So he cannot say that I walk everywhere. No, I will walk and go preach throughout the world. That is not possible. So he use airplanes, to travel, right? And sometimes Prabhupada use cars. So sometimes people were asking, why are you using car? Why are you using luxury? But then the principle is not to reject things, but to use it in service of Lord. So this is Yukta Vairagya. So and there is one more principle we'll touch up, which is called Anukulyasya Sankalpa Pratikulasya Vivarjana. So what it means is that so when we have so many doubts in our day-to-day life, right, whether I should do this activity or I should not do this activity, whether this is right or this is wrong, so this simple principle can be used, which is Anukulasa Sankalpa Pratikulasa Varjana. So what it means is that those things which are favorable for Krishna consciousness or for bhakti, we should ask whether this particular activity will help me to make progress in bhakti, or will whether this activity will make bring me close to the Lord. Then I think we can take that activity. We should embrace that activity. And if we find that a particular activity is taking me away from the Lord, right, or it will take me away from bhakti, then it has to be rejected. So this is a simple principle, right? So these are the essential concepts today we want to discuss. Now we'll look at a small incidents from the Puranas. It's about the story of Ambarish Maharaj. Many of you might be knowing about King Ambarish. So Ambarish Maharaj was ruling, in the city of Ayodhya, in the kingdom of Ayodhya, many generations before Lord Rama appeared in the Ikshvaku dynasty. So he was a very famous king, and he was a great devotee of the Lord. So some of the stories, we discussed, are discussing, we will revisit it. So because each of the story has many spiritual topics or aspects, to learn. So today we'll only touch upon one aspect of Ambarish Maharaj. So to understand how he was a devotee and how he is an ideal example, how we can engage all the senses in the service of the Lord. So what actually, how Ambarish Maharaj engaged in devotional service? So he used his mind, right? So he's used his mind always to meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord. So he always used to think, contemplate about the Lord, all the in his mind, right? Whenever he spoke, he always spoke about the Lord's glories and pastimes. No, he always used his words to glorify the Lord. Then he always used the hands to do devotional activities. He cleaned the temple. He prepared offerings. He served devotees. So thus he used his hands. And his eyes, he always used eyes to see the form of the Lord, whether he's at home, in his palace, or he's outside, he's in the temple. So always he's used his eyes to saw the form of the deities, to see sacred places, to see devotees, etc. And his ears, always he's used his ears to hear the topics about the Lord. No, he heard Srimad Bhagavatam, the glories of the Lord, holy names, like that. The legs he used to walk to the temple, to holy places of pilgrimage. Nose he used to smell the flowers offered to the Lord, the incense offered to the Lord. His tongue he used his tongue to, always speak, glorify the Lord. We saw, and also eat prasadam. Always he offered food to the Lord, and then that prasadam he always took. Right, he chanted the holy names with his tongue. He bowed down his head, before the devotees, and also to the Lord. And finally, he completely, he did Atma Samarpana. No, he aligned his desires and will to the will of the Lord. So this principle, what we discussed, Anukulisa Sankalpa, Pratikulisa Varjana, he always followed that principle. That he always aligned his desires according, with the will of the Lord. So this way we can see that Ambarish Maharaj was an ideal example, of using every senses in the service of the Lord. Okay, so we'll try to wrap up today's session. So what are the key takeaways? So for a personal life application, we can understand that, no, attachment and aversion both are actually a problem, right? So we should start letting go, of our attachments and aversions. We have to consciously understand what are maybe we can list down what are my attachments and what are my, key aversions, and we should slowly try to give up that. And we should have a regulated life, like controlling the activities, and try to start executing devotional service, engaging the senses in the service of Lord, following the example of Ambarish Maharaj. In our job, like professional life, again we have dislikes and likes, right? So we should more focus on the principles, rather than the likes and dislikes. And emotionally, we should try to achieve neutrality. Like when we understand that, okay, what actually is destined, the principle of, understanding the prarabdha karma principle, right? What actually is destined for you, right? Whether it's a promotion or a hike, actually it will come in the due course of time. uh, of course we should put our effort, but then don't be too much attached, to the outcome, right? Whether what is destined will surely come for us, so we should have that faith, right? And in our family life, again same problem we see, like the conflicts in family happen because of these likes and dislikes, right? So all of us are individuals, and everybody has their own likes and dislikes, and this many times conflict with, the likes and dislikes of the other members of the family. So when we start becoming detached from these outcomes and likes and dislikes, that will help us to achieve harmony. And the bigger principle of achieving harmony in the family life is to have the Lord at the center of the family, right? When everybody follows the religious principles, right, understand the same principles what we are discussing, then actually automatically, this the self-centeredness of each individuals will go away, and we keep the Lord in the center of the family, right? When the Lord is the center, then everybody is aligned to that understanding. Yeah, so with that, I think we come to the end of today's time. uh, so anybody ask any questions? If somebody wants to leave, they can leave. If anybody has any questions, they can either put it in the chat or they can unmute and ask the question. So we will meet every day, 7 o'clock. So I request everybody to keep coming for the session. If any of you have missed some session, you can go through the recordings are available. Please also extend no the invitation to your friends and relatives, so no more and more people can be benefited. So if all of your family members follow, then it's very easy. It's easy to follow the things, right? So that way, if anybody, like, you can encourage your family members if they're interested, or you can share the knowledge with them if they're not able to join at this time. You can share the information, so that way everybody can be benefited. So if there are no questions, then I think we can end the session today. We'll meet again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you all devotees who have joined. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you all.